This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Had a busy day back in the studio yesterday. Some really cool shows. Had Jacob Wheeler on in the first segment just to kind of talk about another dominating year that he had in the Angler of the Year. Like, you think you can't get better when it comes to like accomplishments, like tournament wins, so to speak. And he continues to get better. And then once you can't get any better, he just starts beating people worse than he beat them the previous year. So be very interesting to see what happens with him in the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. It'll be interesting to see what happens to this next group of anglers, quite honestly, because, it wasn't 10 years ago. Ken Duke, one of his best and favorite stats on the Elite Series was that the average age of an Elite Series angler was 41 years old, and their prime wasn't until like 42 or 43. And that was because of just, you still had the younger guys, but just think back on it. You had a lot of those 50s and 60-year-old dudes. And then, you'd have like a Rick Clunn, a Guy Eaker, a Shaw Grigsby, a Dave Smith, Tommy Biffle, those guys that kind of average it out. Well, now I think I would love to see those statistics. Now it's got to be such a seismic shift towards late 20s, mid 20s to early 30s, I think, as far as kind of the prime of their career. But here's what I'm interested in. So we see Skeet retiring early 50s. We saw Kevin retire. There's a whole nother group of guys. What is the span? Are we going to see like a lot of 40, 50 year careers of guys? Cause now when they're getting to where they're like actually quote unquote dialed in, they've been doing it for 25 years. We got one of those guys on today who grew up in literally was born into a fishing family. And then, at a very young age, I remember I did a documentary called The Gunnersville Effect, and at the time, Randy had won the Classic, and they had in this documentary, I might be able to pull it out. I think our guests might enjoy that today. Is Randy walking around the property where they're building their house, I believe in Spring Creek, but it's just like a plot of land at the time. I think it was through like Duckett Estates, believe it or not, through that. And then you could actually see the hump. Like everyone wants to say Livingston lure on the bridge for Randy's win, but it was really a critical 6-pounder that came further back in the creek on a chatterbait that sealed the deal to get the Gunnersville win. When he heard he's laughing about it. We'll bring him in. Now, full disclosure, I think maybe I've said hi to LAKER Howell one time. We just run in totally different circles on the opens. I'll see him like in lines at the registration, or I'll see him on the water, but I've never talked to LAKER Howell, including like we said, like, hey, you good? Like, turn your camera sideways. Let's roll. So thanks for being on BTL, LAKER.
Man, it's so cool to be on here, dude. I love the show. I feel great to be actually on it for once. It's cool.
Did I get all that stuff right? It's in Spring Creek. It's through the Duckett Estates. Like, how old were you when you guys broke ground? Because I think I did that documentary in like 2018, 17, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so we moved it would have been around 2015, I would imagine.
Okay.
Because Dad won in 14, and then the rest of the year, because they had always, dreamed of retiring in Gunnersville, but when he won that, he obviously had a lot of extra funds. So he decided we're going to move to Gunnersville so that me and my brother could grow up on the lake and kind of live that dream out. So it was back then around, I think it was in probably, we moved to Gunnersville in like the winter of 14 and lived for a year in
Blue Heron RV Resort. That was when you were shooting it. You guys, it was like this. It was really nice inside that RV resort, though. Like, you guys had like a little house next to the
Yeah.
RV deal. And then I think you guys were like, that's where when I filmed it, you guys like, I think was there like a loft or something that you guys were in there?
Yeah, there was a loft, and like I had a mattress in the laundry room because I was too big to stay anywhere else in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a cool experience, man. Because in there, and then they had a little private pond, and may or may not have stocked it with a few fish.
So that was the most insane. I don't want to call it. It wasn't a trailer park. It was an RV park. It's a very nice RV park. It's right there. What's the famous landing that it's right there by on Gunnersville?
Seabold. It's by Seabold.
Seabold. But
yep.
At the time when I filmed that, Justin Lucas had, I believe, just bought an entire truck and trailer off of Chad Morgan Taylor. So they had their RV and F-350 dually in there. Leanne and Gerald were living in there.
I think they still do. And
really?
Matt Lee was as well. Yeah.
And Matt Lee, because I crashed on Matt Lee's couch that entire week while I filmed that documentary. And then well, Randy Howell, classic champ, was living in there too. We actually opened up the clubhouse to do the interview with the classic trophy.
Yeah, man, that was a cool place, and there was so many pros in there, and then the rest of the community was primarily just nice retired people, and we were the only, me and my brother were the only people in there under the age of like 30. So every one of them in there kind of treated us as like their honorary grandkids. I mean, it was a really cool experience in there. We got some fun stories from that place.
Well, congratulations. That had to be a pretty wild ride. I talked about it on the show yesterday. It was crazy. So like I said, I hadn't talked to you before, and you just happened to power pull down behind me on the morning of day 2, which after the canceled day, like in all intents and purposes, it was kind of a 40 guy crapshoot.
Yeah, it was.
And I had no idea how it was going to shake out with the wind. And you had guys that had mixed bags that you knew were up there, and guys that were all largemouth, and guys that were all smallmouth, and locals, and guys who had never been there, and guys who caught them last year. And it was like, okay, well, one of these 40 guys is going to figure something out. And I figured it would take someone was going to freak show it. Like it never occurred to me that it wasn't going to be like a 22 to 24 pound bag that someone was going to kind of separate themselves from that. What were your kind of thoughts going into that final day after setting yourself up? I think you were in the top 20 going into day 2 on Leech. Yeah. 21st going into Leech on day 2 on Leech.
Yeah, so it was one of them deals. I mean, as well as anybody else does, as anglers, we fish as many tournaments as we do, and it kind of turns into one of them situations where, when you're so far back, I mean, even if you're in like 10th place, in the top 10, you still don't really think, well, I've got a legit shot to win tomorrow, because I was almost 3 pounds back.
You didn't think you had a legit shot? I was 2 pounds 15 ounces back, and I thought it was a tie ball game.
Yeah. So my dad had texted me the night before, and he every single tournament when I'm within 2 to 4 pounds, he always texts me. He's like, "Dude, you could win this," and like to give me some encouragement, all that. Well, I get over there, and when I was talking to you, I was in my mind, I'm thinking, shoot, I'm gonna have to have like 22 pounds today, and if I can get a good top 10, because I showed up there, dude. Like I've told this story a couple times now, but I'll tell it to you this morning. So before that tournament. You've heard it a lot from different anglers. I mean, we're a group of broke dudes most of the time. I was one of the most broke, I promise, because I got there. My dad actually tried to talk me out of going to Leech Lake before that tournament, because I was so broke that I was calling different guides trying to get trips set up for when I got back from it. The only reason I actually went was because I had already spent my money on it. I didn't want to lose $2,500 on the hotel plus the entry fee. Mm-hmm. So I go up there, and I'm just trying to make a check, because last year I finished 22nd throwing a frog, and just having a good time. That place was just so much fun. I'm like, well, shoot, I'll go back. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna go and just see what happens. Well, then final day of the tournament, I'm in 21st, and I'm thinking, well, shoot, I might could get me a good check, and at least get my stuff covered, plus get a few extra grand to live off of, and try to afford paying for the final 3 events in the EQs, and get out there and run back to that place and go to the back of it instead of where I was supposed to be, and it was lights out. I mean, it was by 9:30 I had 20 pounds. I didn't know what was going on,
and that was mostly frogging.
It was all frogging, yeah. So I caught all 10 of my fish in 2 days on a frog, dude. I was tweaking. I really was. Every single one would smash that thing and I'd hook them. And then, of course, that stuff is so thick, the rice up there is like, we don't really have anything like it in the South, so it's kind of hard for anybody that hasn't seen it to understand what it is. So when you hit them and they go right into that stuff, they're mean as snakes up there, dude. So that you're like just freaking out that you're going to lose them every time they get in. It's just like a battle the whole time.
Yeah. What's that stuff in Florida that you punch and then like it's the floating mats and stuff? I'm not a grass guy. Yeah. So it's like kind of a mix between like cattail and hyacinth, wouldn't you say? Like it's sticky like hyacinth to where like you're like, why won't this fish come out? But it's also like very visual. It's not. I'm just saying it from the half day last year that I went up in largemouth fish. That was my assessment of it. And then I said, not for me.
It's real close together too. So like it is like hyacinth where it's, real compact and then you got that extra thickness to it. So it's so frustrating to hook one in it. Cause like if they get their head down, it's like less than a 50% chance of you actually landing the thing. But man, it was crazy that morning. I really didn't think that there was a chance because, 21st place back, I'm like, well, you saw me. I was laying over there in my seats long ways watching Instagram reels. I didn't think I had a chance at all. So, to be able to go out and then come back and somehow win the thing, God is incredible. That's the only answer I've got for it.
Yeah, I want to pull up, and this is courtesy of Bassmaster. Have you gone back and watched your winning moment yet?
Yeah, I watched it a couple times.
Like you weighed in, you did the fist pump. Like at that time, I think you were thinking, hell yeah, great check.
Yeah, basically.
Like it was worth coming. Like I covered my entry fee. I got everything back. I was already in the EQs. We're going to survive
like
another
top 5,
day.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up with the audio because like you literally seemed like you were in shock.
I didn't think I would have had 20 pounds for real.
This is like when you won. Here, we'll see.
He does not need that much. Looking for 17-14, or it's going to LAKER Howell. 4 fish. 22 even yesterday, 17-14. Would be Kyle Minke. Settle down. The mark is 17-14. 11 pounds, 8 ounces, and that means LAKER Howell has just punched his ticket to the Bassmaster Classic. Kyle, thank you, man. Round of applause for Kyle Minke. He fished hard.
Surrender, Cobra.
And the emotion is high. John, if you would grab that middle trophy for me really fast. And ladies and gentlemen, Walker, Minnesota, I'm going to introduce you to your champion. His father is a Classic champion, and now he is headed to the Classic. LAKER Howell will grab that trophy and hold it high. A 2-day total of 39-13. Your champion, LAKER Howell.
There's not that many opens. Well, in Division 2 there was this year, but like it's a weird. I would imagine that was weird out there during the day, like not being in the top 10, not having a camera boat, not weighing in the top 10 or knowing what anybody else had to have, and then all of a sudden, some dude's handing you the freaking trophy, and you're like, wait a second, like. The Bassmaster Classic, the one my dad has won in the home state, the one that I've worked the expo floor for the past years. And now you're like, holy cow, I'm fishing on the river in Knoxville in 6 months.
Dude, I can't even believe that still. Just everybody's, my buddies all called me as soon as it was over and they were like, you're going to the freaking Classic. And like, I hear that and I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, I still don't even really believe it, honestly, because like I told my dad, years ago when I was in the stands, I forget who won. It might have been Ott Defoe. Like I told him after he won that I would be up there one day, and then we were in the stands after I think it was Ott Defoe won, and we're sitting there watching. I told him, I promise I'm going to be up there one day. I don't know how, but I will. So, golly, that's just insane because like you said, fishing the Classic is a dream, but I've been working the expo for long as I can remember, busting my butt just like everybody else does. And trying to do videos and keep sponsors happy and see everybody at the shows and all that. And I've been watching from the stands for so long, and now I'm going to be looking at the stands from the stage. I don't know how much Mercer weighs, but I might pick him up when I walk up there. I don't know yet.
What was the first thing? What was the first thing your dad said to you? Because there's very few people that can relate to that feeling, to be in their shoes. It's kind of cool. Your dad's one of those. Do you care to say what that first kind of phone call was like after you lifted the trophy?
Well, the first phone call, golly. Yeah, so I FaceTimed him. I FaceTimed my wife, talked to her. She was fired up. She was upset she wasn't up there, and I told her, it was one of them deals where didn't know it was even a chance. So we'll get at the next one. But then my dad, I FaceTime him, and as soon as he answers, he's already crying. So it was already an emotional moment because it had just been so long and waiting for a break. But I remember the first thing he said was, "Oh my gosh, you're going to fish the Classic." I was like, "I know, I still can't even believe it." And he said, "Dude, I'm going to find a way to get in that this year with you and fish it with you," because he's at that tournament this coming week. He said they've been doing the 21 days of prayer and fasting with Church of the Highlands they do every year. And he said that he's been praying specifically for me to win a tournament this year in that 21 days. Hey.
We got a BTL rule. If you hear a dog, you got to show it on the show. I'm a big dog guy, so
got to show it on the show.
Yeah, we got to have the dog on the show. If the dog comes in screen or you hear the dog, we got to see the dog.
Look, here they are. They're in trouble now.
So is that one? What are they? Is one like a little bit of pit in there, or Rottweiler?
So it's a funny story on those. We bought them for $50, and
don't let them hear that. You got to get further away before you say stuff like that, Laker.
Yeah, so they're Australian Shepherds mixed with something else. We don't know what else is in them, but we know they're Australian Shepherd. But other than that, I mean, they're sweet as they can be. But as you can hear, they're not excited to be in their pen this morning.
I got you. All right, so back to it. So now we know the secret of how Randy has stayed so fit and trim. It's through the 21 days of fasting. But,
21 days.
So anyway, you're talking about that. Like that was kind of on his prayer list, was that you win one and that going to happen. So he's got to win on lacrosse this week, though. He's 60th in the Angler of the Year points.
Yep.
I don't think a win won't get him there, but is this one not a win and you're in at lacrosse?
It's a win and you're in. That's why. So that's what I was getting to before I was interrupted by the dog. So he's prayed that I will win one, and that prayer was answered, pretty much immediately, which is insane. And then, he's going to be at that one as well. And I told him, I'm like, man, it's lining up perfect. You're going to win this one. So maybe I'll be catching a flight to go up there. I don't know if he makes the final day. Yeah, I got a little bit of money now to actually afford a plane ticket. Before I would just be like, well, Dad, I'll watch you on live, man.
I want to get into this before we take a break. Then we'll get into some of the other stuff because you got a bunch of EQs coming up. I'm interested in your thoughts on that, but this is intriguing in a day and age when there's a lot of contrived controversy online over techniques and methods and live coverage. It's really a shame that you didn't have a live camera. Bass couldn't do anything about it. They had to go with the top 10 that were in it, but a tournament that was won by the local last year, precision scoping, Easton Fothergill, Main Lake Boulder, smallmouth, dice, light line, then to come back the next year and win it with 20 pounds a day on this ugly ass frog. Like that maybe put Leech in the top 3 of greatest tournament lakes of all time right now. And I will say this, there have been 2 opens. That's it. I know I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to, recency biased, but Leech Lake is an A1 tournament destination, and you proved it. Walk me through this frog. Walk me through how this bait can compete with dice on 6-pound test against a guy who has spent months marking every boulder on LiveScope?
Well, I mean that it really, I think it's more in the way you work it, right? So the reason I throw that particular frog, I actually bought that thing on eBay. The reason I throw that particular frog is because the hookup ratio is so crazy on it. So like, you throw a frog, it's normally like even the best frog fisherman typically is about a 70% land ratio, right? That's really good with a frog. So when living on Gunnersville for so long, I've been trying to figure out how to make that ratio go up, right? So me and my fishing partner, we spent 2 straight summers just literally playing with hooks, frogs, whatever we could do, rod setups, line, reels. That's why I've got that crazy reel handle on there, because my hands are big, and that just adds to it. So everything in that picture kind of right there is a lot of there's been a lot of work that's gone into figuring out what the best frog setup can be. And golly, it's so cool to actually see it come to fruition of all that hard work and all those hot days. I mean, we'd spend 15-hour days in the summer just breaking down nothing but one creek on Gunnersville until we found them, and then on top of that, figuring out what the best color was, how to glue certain things on the frog to make it a little more buoyant, what would make it walk a little bit different. I mean, it's
What are
just
those
like
things?
the
What are
just
those
like
things,
the
Laker?
do what?
What are those things?
Ah, there's a couple little keys. I know.
Listen, I'll level. We'll level here. Just give me one. Just give me one trick that you haven't said before, and I won't hammer you on any of the other stuff.
All right, one trick that I haven't ever said before. It doesn't matter what the frog is. If the frog gets water in it at all when you go to cast, you're not going to get as many bites on it. So I glue the frog hole. Like I had a tube of glue, and I keep it pretty close in there. So I glue the little frog hole every single time that water starts getting in it. You got to get, fast dry and stuff, but that really is, I mean, that sounds like a simple little thing that I'm just giving you to get out of answering the rest of them. But that one really is a big one, because I've got a box of them, and I went through, every one of them, and I tied them all on in practice until I found one that I liked that was the most buoyant. And then I glued it to make sure it stayed that way. So the buoyancy of it, if it's sitting down, like, with like a spook type bait or any of the topwater bait, the bait sits down like this, right?
Yep.
So with a frog, if it sits down like this, the frog is not going to walk much. It's going to just kick a little bit to the side. Well, in order to get those fish to commit, especially ones that have been in an area that people are going through nonstop and seeing frogs all day, if the frog is sitting like this the entire time, it's going to be the same thing. So if you can get one that sits dead level, when you walk that thing, it's going to kick. I could make that frog, even on that long rod, I can make that thing kick, at a full, I guess that'd be a 180. You can make it do a 180 back.
That's why it's so easy to walk a spook, because a spook, like an actual old Zara spook, because a spook sits level on the water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you get such a good, that's why anybody, maybe Jason Christie with a Y, that's an old school reference there, can walk one of those. Yeah. And then you get like a Sammy or something like that sits intentionally tail down, and it's harder and it's more of a spitting thing, but you want that to keep it in the, dude, that's good stuff. I was trying to think
as long as possible.
Now you're a little bit of a fishing. I mean, you've been around a while to understand these tournaments. Now I have been going back over here, and I'm trying to think of an Open and Elite Series tournament, an FLW Tour event, anything that has been won exclusively on a hollow-bodied frog. And I initially had to go all the way back to 2008 on Dean Rojas on Oneida Lake when the Poppin' Frog had first come out. But I just found an article that said that he also used a Northland Slurpees brush beaver, which sounds like I should be censored to even say that on BTO. But that rules him out for like a full-on frog win. I don't think when Rambanis won the major, it was a full-on frog win. I think he just caught that big one on the frog on the end. Yeah. I cannot think of an opener tournament that has been won 100%. Now, I know you probably threw some other stuff and flipped around and did whatever, but No, you just had a frog. That's it.
I literally I'm just being as honest as I can be. I literally the second day I had one rod out the entire day. I never threw anything else. On day one, I did throw a Cinco and I threw a walking ball. So after I had my 1910, because I didn't want to beat on my frogfish anymore, to just try and see if I could find something else. But I never got a bite on anything else.
Someone is saying Todd Faircloth on lacrosse. Now I watched him in that tournament, and that was when remember they had that shad, the Picasso shad bait that was like shaped like a little bait fish, like a banana with the hooks in it. And when you'd walk it, you could walk it like he was throwing that. It was pretty badass back in the day. Like that was kind of a hush hush bait. You don't remember that? Was
Might have missed that one.
You?
That might have been too hush hush for me. I don't know.
Let me see if I can find it.
Because I mean, in 2008, you got to remember I was 7 years old, dude. So.
Oh God, sorry. Yeah. Here it is. The Picasso Shadwalker. You don't remember the Picasso Shadwalker?
I've never seen that. No.
Oh, dude, you got to get your hands on some of those, Laker.
I don't know about that.
I'm not kidding. Look at the hookup ratio on it. That's a quality hook, and it's kind of got that like the snag proof, like with those hooks where that body doesn't like bury into it.
That looks like a different. That looks like another one of the. There's another. I'm not going to say the name of it. There's another one that comes to mind that looks just like that. That the hookup ratio is pretty bad on that. That one might be better, but I don't know. That looks a little weird to me.
Okay, I'm just saying,
I know it's won a tournament or something, so I can't say much on that. But I mean, just off the rip, I'd be a little
maybe
skeptical.
Faircloth. And then was Joe Lee in that heavy hitter? I don't know. I don't really know if I would call the heavy hitters like a full field thing. That's like just like a 30 guy deal
in that tournament.
That was super. Now, when you were reeling your fish in, was there would they pop free and get on the top? Were you like, I know that the wild rice was a really weird situation where if you listen to the video, Hank was like, now if you get your bait stuck in it and you bring back a stalk of wild rice, you can't do that. However, if you hook one in it, you can bring back a whole wad of the stuff to get the fish out of it. And we were all sitting there going, play that again. Now, fortunately, I was so far away from it, but was it a deal where those fish would get buried up in it and you'd have to wench them out? Would they pop free? Were they already out of it when they hit the frog?
So that was the key that I was really focusing on with that long rod. So, and that's another secret. I will give one more away. If your rod is too short, it's a lot bigger of a chance of that fish getting buried up and you losing it. So with that long rod, people are thinking that I'm just throwing it to get the long cast in there. But what in reality I was doing was with that rod, you land the frog, and then when the fish would blow it up, they immediately go for cover. But if you can hook them and get control of their head and get them up, like as soon as their head comes up, they're done, right? So you got them. As long as they're stuck and they're not going to come off, you got the fish beat right there. So that first, 2 to 3 seconds of you hooking that fish, if his head gets in that stuff, then you've got a real problem, because then you've got a chance of him coming off or the rice getting wrapped around it. So as soon as I would hook one of those fish, I mean, it was just a straight up battle. I was just winching them as hard as I could to get their head out of the water. As soon as I did, I knew they were done. But like that 5-pounder on day 2, I didn't get control of him fast enough, and I almost lost him. I lost a 4-pounder in open water because he just wasn't stuck good. And 3 casts later, I landed by this little nook, in the rice. And soon as it hit it, it was like a dog jumped on it. And I hammered him, and he went right up in the rice. I was like, oh, crap. And then he come out of it and went in a second patch. And when he did that, he got all wrapped up in there. So I kept just winching, and it brought a big, wad of crap with him. And all I could see was his bottom lip sticking out of it. So I was like, just get over here. Let me grab your lip. When I did, I grabbed him, and the frog came out pretty easily. So it was almost a disaster. But yeah, like that stuff played a major factor. So that was something I was a little scared of. I was winching them so hard. This will tell you how big a deal it was. I was winching them so hard to get them out of the stuff to where they wouldn't like get their head down, that my left arm got to hurting so bad on day 2 from catching so many fish on the frog and that stuff and doing it every time that I had to take Advil at 12 o'clock. I was dying, dude.
And you're how old?
I'm 24.
Oh, dude, you're way too young to start the Advil stuff. Did you have that area to yourself? I know you said you kind of fished it last year. With what I do, it's a part of the lake that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Like I called a couple guys. I was like, "Where the hell was he?" And they're like, "Oh, he was up yonder." I was like, "Oh, I stopped like 10 miles short of there."
Yeah.
But were you? I mean, did you even know you were in an open, or were you the only guy just up there frogging like you were out fishing for fun?
I had it mostly to myself, but honestly, there was more people than I would have cared to have had in there. On day one, especially my best area, I watched 3 boats, pick it apart going through it. I mean, it was a deal that I did not have it to myself at all, and the shortest version possible. It was a deal where I really had to slow down and pick stuff apart for those fish to bite. It really was, because I talked to one guy. This will tell you, this one dude come by. I don't know who he was or anything, but he said he was all frustrated, and he's like, "Man, I don't know what to do. I can't get them hooked. I've got 1 3-pounder in the box." And I'm like, "Man, yeah, just slow down." He said, I've hooked and lost or missed over 20 fish this morning already. So he had 20 bites in a row that saw a frog. And then I went right behind him. And this isn't me bragging. This is just me telling the story of how it happened. I went right behind him immediately and, working the same grass line he just did, same rice line. And I caught 2 4s back to back that he had probably just shown his frog to. So it was more of a, because I'm fishing real slow in that clean water. You got to get the bait way out away from you so the fish don't know you're there. It was a lot of pressure per cast, because if you made the wrong cast, you were going to mess up on a fish that might have been just a little further. And if you get too close to it, he's gone,
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to dive into the EQs really quick. You actually double qualified for the EQs, 31st in Division 1, 4th in Division 2. For that $3,500 entry fee, committed to all 3, kicking off with 100. Top 10 go to the Bassmaster Elite Series, and that starts, in just a couple weeks here on Lake Champlain. So I want to get your thoughts on that and the rest of the season. We are chatting with the latest Bassmaster Open champion, and one of the first guys to get it done exclusively on a hollow-bodied frog.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. LAKER Howell will be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Pro Bass Adventures is reinventing Mexico bass fishing. With boats equipped with 12-inch Garmin units and LiveScope Plus, free loaner fishing rods, and no-cost airport transportation, Pro Bass Adventures is proudly putting you in the best position for success. Pro Bass Adventures has lodges on Lake Baccarat and Lake El Salto, Mexico's 2 best trophy largemouth bass lakes. Visit probassadventures.com or email probassadventures@gmail.com. The official Mexico fishing lodge of Bass Talk Live.
Beatdown is efficient.
Rock solid.
100% American made. This thing is super tough. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere.
I've ran the Beatdown double stack from Florida all the way up to New York. And the one thing that I know is when I get to my fishing destination, I never have to worry about issues with my graph mount.
Your options are endless with these mounts, but they're steady, they're solid. These are the most reliable mounts on the market, and you can't go wrong with the Beatdown.
When you're ready to hit the water, Denali Fishing has you covered. Regardless of your skill level, from beginner all the way up to tournament pro, Denali has rods, reels, and tungsten to get the job done. Check them out at denalifishing.com.
All right, welcome back, BTL, on a Tuesday, August 19th. Chatting with LAKER Howell. Do they mail you the check, or do they just like send you on the way with like a $56,000 check and a trophy and a big cardboard check? Like, how does that work out, like, money wise? Because I weighed in at 2 and I was like, I would really like to stick around and get the old $4,800 check, but then I was like, I could be on the road. But I just am curious, like, at the top there, like, are they like, hey, is it Hank like, hey, here's a $50K check?
That's literally what it was. He handed that to me, and I'm like, this is way too much responsibility for me, dude.
Really?
I stuck it in a dry box in my boat, and then I got back to the truck, and like I got out of the boat with it. I ran straight to the truck and stuck it in my truck to where I wouldn't lose it. So I turned it in yesterday, and that looks crazy in my bank account. I got to be honest.
Really? And then afterwards, what, your buddies with like Andrew Banky and a couple of those other dudes there? Was that like a Waffle House or something, or an IHOP that you took the trophy into?
No, so that restaurant up there, boy, I would love to have one of those. It's an old restaurant up there called Jimmy's. It's like been around for 30 some years apparently, but I didn't miss. I really practice weird. So, all my buddies give me crap about it. My dad always is giving me crap about it. It doesn't matter what lake I'm at or what what's on the line. I go to breakfast every morning and practice. Like, that's just how I do. I can't get up at daylight. I mean, I was on the water every day at Leech at about 10 o'clock every day.
Wait, say that again?
I was on the water every morning about 10 o'clock at Leech Lake for the first time in practice. I would go to breakfast at Jimmy's, and I'd eat the steak omelet and the pancake and everything, and then I'd mosey my way down to the ramp and go fishing.
Is that it right there?
Yeah, that's it. Jimmy's. Dude, that place is so good. I'm serious. I would love to have that place down in the South. It was so good.
There you go, Jimmy. Jimmy's Family Restaurant out of Walker, Minnesota. TripAdvisor gives it a 4.5. Have you reviewed it? You need to go and give it a 5-star review, LAKER.
Dude, I
need to do it on Yelp and TripAdvisor and all that.
Yeah, Tuesday at practice, I'm sitting in there by myself, playing on Instagram at like 9 a.m. and I see Hank and the other tournament officials come walking over from their table, and Hank was like, you are allowed to be on the water today, LAKER. No, but it's too good. Yeah. Somebody else that was in there every day was Paul Marks. I saw him at a table every morning in there eating too. So, I mean, it was, I wasn't by myself at least.
Dude, I would have done a lot of illegal things to have the 2 that he weighed in on day 2. He had like a 6'1" and a 5.5. He had like, I think that was Paul. He had like 2 for almost 12.
Yeah, Paul's always on him, dude. He is an incredible angler.
Let's talk about the EQs. So you knew you were in the EQs. It was kind of a free roll for you at
St. Lawrence.
At the St. Lawrence. You finished 4th in this division, 31st in Division 1. What are your thoughts on the EQs and how that's going to go down? It's basically 100 plus whatever Elite Series angler decides they want to get in the way of guys trying to make the Elite Series, plus the 10 who are trying to get back in. Like, I'd already told like a couple guys on the Elite Series, if I had made that, I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know right now, if I make the EQs and I roll up and you're where I want to fish, I'm going to tell you to pack your stuff and kindly leave immediately and get the hell out of my way, because you shouldn't even be able to fish this tournament. It should be the 10 guys that got kicked out, the 100 EQ guys, the 50 at each division. But whatever. Bass placated the Elite Series guys and said, oh, you guys want to come in? You can. You can take their money. You can take their glory. You can take the TV time. You just can't take their points.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. That's on my list of emails.
You sound kind of fired up about it.
A little bit fired up about it. But you got to be excited, dude. I mean, you got a chance to be one of the few father-son teams on the Bassmaster Elite Series now, to fish with your dad, to make the Elite Series. I know how hard you've been grinding at this the last couple years, and it's all in front of you.
Golly, dude, I know. And that's the coolest part. So, last year, if you follow the opens and stuff and all that, it was 9 events across the whole country, and they all added up. So by the last 2 events, the top 9 that made and you see them winning tournaments left and right on the elites right now. That was the most stout group of guys I think I've ever seen in a tournament trail. It was ridiculous that qualified. So, last year they had a different format. So top 9 out of all 9 events across the whole country had to fish, all 9 of them went. So this year, with them swapping it up a little bit, it being 3 shootout events, it's really like that's I don't want to jinx myself, but that's what I'm used to, because like when I started out, everybody starts out, in different ways, but around Gunnersville, we always had, like a Toyota Series event come. So like in order to qualify for that tour, which at the time was the FLW tour, that one you had to finish in the top 5 in points out of 3 events. So I mean, it was still a cutthroat deal. So it was a 3 tournament shootout. You couldn't have a bad finish or you were out of it. It was a lot of pressure. So I really am kind of excited about it because I've been through that, and there's a handful of guys that have as well, because that's how I qualified for that tour before I ever got on the Opens to come over here. So I'm really looking forward to it because with that format, a lot of guys I don't think are used to that kind of pressure. Because if you've got a marathon and there's 9 events, you got a little room for messing up. If you have one bad day in those 3 events, it can make or break your entire chances of getting into it. So, man, it would be and honestly, I know you're fired up about the elite guys dropping out and fishing. The way I see it, and I know you're going to be like, oh, you're just wanting to say something different than me. I'm kind of excited. I'm really enjoying the fact that there's elite guys coming into it because, I mean, if I'm scared to fish personally against them because I feel like they're going to affect me in qualifying, then I shouldn't be on the elite series to begin with. So like, I feel like I'm going to fish against them already if I make it right. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea of them coming down. So it kind of shows, who in my mind is genuinely ready to be on that tour. Because like maybe if it was just 100 guys of us, you might have a little bit less pressure. I think that adds kind of a mental side of stuff to it as well, for pressure adding to qualifying.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I'm excited to try to make it. I mean, getting on there with my dad would be crazy. Obviously you probably know he is just beside himself. Like, you got to make it, dude. I want you on this tour so bad with me. Like, we're going to travel together.
Is he going to fish the EQs then? Is he going to fish the EQs?
After this win, he really might, because like we're still shooting to see what he does at this next Elite Series event. But there's 3 chances of the Classic in the EQs as well. So you never know if this doesn't work out, he might come fish the EQs and do that. He just doesn't like driving. The main one he wouldn't want to go to is Champlain because it's 18 hours. So whenever we get done with this next one, we'll see. He said he might fish Wheeler or something else because they will allow him to cherry pick them, right? Because Wheeler's 30 minutes from us, and then Okeechobee that's like 12 hours. That ain't too bad, but you never know. But yeah.
Another question that I had was, I want to pull this up on your website and we'll talk a little bit about guiding, but I mean, you have a really robust sponsor portfolio. And one of the things I've noticed is you have some sponsors that are in common with your dad and things like that. But you also have a number of sponsors that, he has no relation with, that's completely your doing, going out. Talk about how hard it is having a dad who's won the Bassmaster Classic and then making a path for yourself in this sport.
Man, it's different. So it's already hard enough to make a path, right? So I think that and any of the other pros kids can probably vouch for me on this. I feel like, honestly, if you come into those settings, like if you go to ICAST, right, or the Classic or somewhere where you're going to meet those sponsors and you've already got this air about you because, oh, my dad is in this stuff. Well, right there off the rip, they're going to be like, right, but what have you done? Why do I want to sponsor you? Like, what's the point? It almost sets a precedence for the people when you show up as a pros kid that you're already prejudged, right? So you already have to prove yourself as not being this stuck up kid that just thinks he's entitled to a sponsorship because of their dad's name. Plus you have to prove, I will do the work and promote y'all stuff, because at the end of the day, a sponsor just wants somebody that is going to be a good representation of their company to sell stuff, right? So you're a marketing strategy for these people. So if you come in and, you're not a good marketing strategy for them, then like if your social media isn't good, that's the number one thing they ask as soon as you get there. They're like, boom, what's your social media? They ask, what's your Instagram look like, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So all those add into it. But then at the same time, you've also got to prove like Diowa, for instance. I'm finally on with them, and that's one me and my dad share. But at the time that it took me almost 5 years of like really from high school fishing all the way through of like really trying to promote the stuff and going to the shows and working it and teaching about the reels best I could before I ever got any inkling that I was even going to get a chance of being sponsored by them. At that time, I was just getting my dad's leftover rods that he was selling every year. So
yeah. I feel like he takes care of his stuff. He doesn't strike me as like an Iconelli type guy where he's like, hey, here's 37 broken ones and 3 that are missing. Like, I feel like Randy's stuff is probably looks brand new when he passes it on.
He would give me, he gave me some that were like that. He would give me those, but then he would also give me the ones with like a couple missing guides because I'm rough on stuff. And I'd go take them to a shop and get the guides put back on, So, I mean, getting sponsors and stuff and having ones apart from him was a difficult situation as well. Cause then, you got already all those different factors I was talking about. You got to bring that to the table and you got to prove to them why. So, for the first 3 or 4 years, people ask what it takes. I mean, really, what I did, I kind of learned by fire. A lot of guys went into, trying to make it in the tours as going through college as a direct path. You go through college fishing, then you get on the lower level, then you start fishing stuff that's bigger. I never got on the college stuff. I went straight into the lower stuff at 18. Me and my buddy Ethan Green, we started just fishing those. So I felt like, well, shoot, if I have a little bit of money to spend, I feel like going to every lake possible across the country, no matter how broke I get, is going to teach me something, and it's going to give me a portfolio when I get a little bit older for these sponsors to see that, hey, I'm committed to this, and I'm going to be in this for, a lifetime if I can be. I'm not quitting. I'm not going to go to the tournaments that are close because I don't want to spend the money, right? Mm-hmm. So all that adds up. And then finally, when you get to a point of like, hey, I've fished 75 events across the country for the last 4 years, and I really could use some help on this. That's when it kind of starts to grow into something bigger.
I'm on LakerHowellFishing.com, and one of the cool things I like to do is I have a show that I do about once a month now called Guide Day, where I take a guide, like someone that I know or I have been out with or hung out or friend, and I'm looking at your website, and you mentioned guiding here too, and here's Pro Guide Services, Tennessee River, primarily focused on Guntersville. I use my personally wrapped tournament boat. I provide all beverages and snacks. My specialty trip is frogging thick mats on Guntersville. And then I scroll down and I'm seeing a half-day trip is 300. Are these accurate prices still?
Yeah.
Okay, a half-day trip is $350, a 6-hour trip is $475, and a full-day trip is. So you're telling me that I could get in the boat with you and we could go frog mats on Guntersville until like 10 or 11 in the afternoon for only $350.
That is correct. That is correct.
Are you not like fully booked for the remainder of your entire year though?
So no, I'm not actually. I'm not right now. I don't promote it a ton. I do it as kind of I've got a lot of reoccurring clients that I've built a client base of that have already, booked some trips with me. So I've got probably 10 trips in the next 2 months. But I really don't push it hard because I'm so busy with traveling and stuff. I don't want to ever cut myself short.
So is that 700 for 1 or 2 guys? So like if you've got a dude and his buddy who want to come frog Guntersville for 2 days, because I feel like 3 guys in a boat frogging is very doable. Like it's not. I mean, like all 3 guys, both of the guys have a chance at smoking an 8-pounder through the mats. Is that for 1 guy, 2 guys, or is that?
So I actually will run up to, my boat is rated for 5 people, and I got my 100-ton captain's license, so I can take on a vessel that's rated for it, I can take up to 99
no way I would
people.
go on a 4-man frogging trip though.
You would
me
be
and a buddy.
surprised. It's
Really?
not too bad. Yeah, you get up in the mats, right? So if I get it in the middle of a mat and we're circling the boat, right? If it's just loaded with fish, like it has been many times, you got one guy on the left side in the back, one guy on the right side. They're standing, set apart, and you're bombing out there as far as you can. And then in the front, you got two guys up there. And I don't ever fish unless they tell me to, right?
Oh, so if I book this with you, you're frogging with me.
Yeah.
There ain't no way you're going to sit there and watch me frog. Like, I mean, the whole point of frogging is to see the blow up. And now that you're an open champ on a frog, I feel like you're obligated to frog.
I definitely will. You would be surprised. I've had a few, like when I first started guiding, I would fish with them. And I learned pretty quick that, people don't want to watch you catch fish, right? So I kind of quit fishing unless they really insist on it. But yeah, if we go, I absolutely frog with you, So yeah, $700. I mean, that's a 8-hour trip technically is what it says. But I mean, I'll take you as long as you want to go. I mean, $700. I just enjoy being out there. So.
All right. So there's one other thing that I see on this. Couple of people have picked artificial or live bait. Like you're not afraid to go, what are we going to do? Cast net gizzard shad and then go sit on a ledge and Carolina rig them or something? Like, have you ever done a full day live bait bass trip on Guntersville?
I have not. I had one trip. These older people I took one time, and this is the guys on the street. This is a really funny story. I didn't know bass would do this, so I went. They wanted to have live bait, right, just in case it got tough because it was middle of the summer. Fish roll ledges, right. Mm-hmm. So I went to Waterfront and I got the large shiners, the big ones, right, for bass, and it was about. What was it? It was almost 60 of them. I was like, 60 of them, that should be plenty. If we use all those, I mean, we're going to lose some of them. We use all those, we're wearing them out, right? So I put them in the live well, and I just cut on the recirculator. We go out there, start on the first spot, and I'm like, hey, before we try live bait, let's just throw, this big worm out there on this ledge. They're stacked. Let's see if they'll bite it. Well, they caught 3 4.5 pounders right off the bat. I mean, boom, boom, boom on a big worm. And, they wanted to get a picture with them at the end. We let them go. So I'm like, hey, let's put them in the live well. I stuck them in the live well with the shiners and right hand to the Lord himself. In 2 hours, we were done out there on the ledges doing that. And I was like, let's go use the live bait. We pulled up, dude. I swear on my life, there was one shiner left in that live well when I
They had eaten them in
They ate
the
every one
well.
of them. Every one of them. We had to make a trip to the tackle store right then to go get more.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Pete was talking about it. Like $700 for a full day is either average or slightly below par right now.
Yeah.
Like most guys that are tournament guys that are proven, that are on a body of water, that are on fish are $750 to $1,200 a day right now. That's the honest truth.
It might go up to 1,000 after this win. I don't know yet.
So you're saying get in right now. Like if you're going to book with you, I'm talking to the BTL listeners. I always try to get you guys a deal. I would get on LakerHowellFishing.com right now. Get him while it's still a steal before he's at those big bass Texas numbers of 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 a day, and you're out there just watching them. You're paying $2,500 to watch them frog. That's where this is headed.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get to that point. But if I go up to 1,000, I mean, we'll go to dark. But that's just been my pricing forever because Guntersville, there's so many guides here. I mean,
yeah, I've done some stuff on Guntersville. I mean, it's fairly cutthroat. Like the PVAs, Pickwick, Guntersville, like all that, very cutthroat guiding.
Yeah, there's so many of us, and I mean, there's a handful that are real, friendly with each other, and we all kind of help each other. We send each other trips and stuff back and forth, and all that. But yeah, you're right. There's more guides on this place than many lakes in the South, honestly, because it's such a popular place. The main thing that really gets to a lot of the guides, I mean, where it gets cutthroat is where people come in without a guide license, and they don't have a license, and they're taking trips from people that do have them, like us. So that's when it gets a little weird. But otherwise, I mean, most of the guides are pretty straightforward and friendly with each other. So
does Oakley fish much?
Yeah. So he says that he is retired.
Okay.
He went out on top. So he fished the junior division in high school his
Okay.
first year, and he won. So it was the same year that me and my partner won AOI. So me and my brother in the same tour. He won the junior division AOI, and me and my partner won the regular division high school AOI. Same exact year. So people loved us. But so he won that, and then him and his partner won the state championship the exact same year on Eufaula by 3.5 pounds. So when he won that championship plus the AOI, he was like, I'm done. I got my hardware. I'm going out on top. I'm retiring. So that's what he always says. And then every tournament, he'll call me and he'll give me a little pep talk. And at the end of it, he'll say, man, just know if I was out there, you know what I'd beat you on. And he's always referring to a Ned rig. So he's the Ned rig king. I'm here to tell you.
Okay. So still enjoys fishing, but tournament fishing is not his life path.
No, I've got him. He's actually in real estate. He just got his real estate license. He's 19 and he passed the test just a few weeks ago. So he's already doing that. And he goes to Alabama. He's a frat boy now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know. So he cracks me
Very
up. Dude.
topsider, short shorts, and the polos.
Yeah. Well, he wears the thick khaki pants with the $600 boots and the polo shirt. That's what he's.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah,
his style
I feel
is.
like that style hasn't changed in like decades. At
Yeah,
Baylor.
that's the Bama frat boy style right there.
Yeah.
That or the short shorts, either one.
Interesting.
But
It's
yeah,
kind of interesting how like the families, like it seems like, when I got into this, you guys were all like, being born little kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then to me, it's always interesting. It seems like one of the kids, like the guys who have like two boys, it seems like they all like fishing, but one of them will just, that's the path they're taking no matter what. Even if their dad's like, listen, it's amazing that we like add food on the table for you. Do not follow me down this path. It like makes them want to do it more. And then the other one always is like Rojas has like the little machine. All he wants to do is catch frog, fish on Havasu.
Yeah.
And then like his oldest boy, commercial pilot. Like,
he wants to make money.
stuff, but it seems like there's always one that always goes like down the fishing rabbit hole, and the other one that looks at it is like, that makes zero economical sense. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna go have like a normal ass life.
That's my brother. That's exactly what he said. He told us he wanted to make real money, so he's getting a real estate law degree at Bama right now, and he's
holy smoke.
Yeah. So that's what he's. That's what
hiring Matt Lee as soon as he graduates.
I told him he's going to be my main sponsor when he graduates, and he said he would put
total tax break for him.
Yeah, he said he would put his face on the side of my boat. So, yeah.
Hey, I've seen lesser anglers do worse things for a little money. Anything else you want to get in here before I let you go, Laker?
Man, I just, number one, thank all my sponsors, especially Livingston, Skeeter, Yamaha, all of them. I mean, Livingston's been with me from the beginning. They gave me my first break, so I got to really thank them. Skeeter's a newer one. I've only been in that Skeeter for 6 months, dude, and I've already won a tournament. So, I mean, that's incredible. So,
you got contingency money? You get Skeeter contingency money for that?
Skeeter contingency money, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that
got Triton up there, so that's no more Triton. You're in the Skeeter now.
Yeah,
that's trying to help you out there.
That page, I appreciate it. That page needs to be updated drastically. But
I'll quit showing it then. I've only showed it like 6 times during the show.
Yeah, any of my sponsors are watching, just know that page is not accurate at the moment. So I have to fix that.
You could have said that the first time.
Well, you were so excited about it. I didn't want to take your excitement off. But anyway, so yeah, any of my sponsors. But yeah, that whole deal, man, they've been in from the beginning, and then Skeeter, I've been in with them for 6 months. I already won a tournament out of it, and then on top of that, all my other incredible sponsors. I can't thank them all enough. I mean, it's just incredible. Daiwa is a big one as well. They took a chance on me, and man, but. Thank you for getting me in this show, and maybe I'll be back again. Do I have to win a tournament to be back, or can I just come back in a different light?
Yeah, you're welcome to come back. Like I said, like I always try to have I feel like you have to earn your spot to get on BTL, and like I was looking at shows, and I've been wanting to get you on for the last last year or two, just with, you've been like really close. You had a second place finish there to Kyle Austin last year at Santee by just a couple pounds, which to keep pace with him on Santee is impressive. And I thought after I saw you won, I chuckled and I was like, what are the odds that I'm like, hey man, I don't know, we haven't officially met. I'd love to get you on the show after this tournament and stuff. And you're like, yeah, okay. And then, you're in 20th and you go out and win. I was like, maybe I just stick, I'm clearly better at predicting what to do on the show than I am on the water. So
that was that morning. I could barely hear you. And I was like, yeah, cool. I'll be on the show. Awesome.
Yeah.
Here we are. So, man, thank you again. Seriously, I'd love to be back again one day. And to all the viewers watching, man, if y'all want to follow along with me, it's just Laker Howell Fishing across the board on social media, anywhere you look, Instagram, Facebook. I don't really do Twitter, but I'm on there. But YouTube, all the above. So just keep it easy, Laker Howell, and put fishing after it. It's easy to find me. So
there you go. All right. Congrats on the win. Good luck in the EQs here in a couple weeks.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. See ya. All right, that is Laker Howell. A little odd to have that on. Like usually I get Randy on once a year to do the King's Home giveaway. He's done a ton with King's Home over the year, knowing Randy. I remember like one time Randy and Mark Jeffries had like a one-on-one basketball tournament in their they used to live in like a neighborhood that had like a pond or a lake in it or something like that. And they had like this basketball court, but it kind of like was on a driveway that turned. And then Jeffries, that was back before he had a case of the numb leg, and Randy was still in his prime. So they like had this hardcore one-on-one bed. Like literally like my job at the time was to like film Randy Howell and Mark Jeffries having this like crazy one-on-one basketball match. Anyway, good show today. Working on getting some guys from the MLF team series on tomorrow. That is kicking off, and one of the cool things is that's actually going to be live streamed. They've done a bunch with the team series stuff before, as far as they do it like just made for TV. Now they've thrown a little bit of money in after a couple years of success. They had that draft. I think it was at ICAST that they did the draft. So looking to get some guys from the team series on. Got a couple calls out, so I'm not sure which team, but I would like to get them both on. However, when you got, superstars of that magnitude and they're all trying to get to the same spot, it's hard to get both of the teammates on. But that's all we got for today. Really enjoyed the show with Laker Howell. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll talk to everybody then. See ya.